They called him Iron Mike Malloy, an old Irish drunk with a liver of steel and a fate no poison could touch. He drank daily at Marino's Speakeasy, a dim, smoky joint where schemes flowed as freely as the bootleg booze. A gang of greedy grifters hatched a plan to kill Malloy for life insurance, thinking he'd drop dead faster than their patients. They fed him poison, froze him, ran him over, and more. But Malloy kept stumbling back, asking for another drink. In the end, they finished him with gas and brute force, the only things his iron will couldn't outrun. Justice caught up with the killers, who were tried, convicted, and executed, proving Mike outlasted them after all. Hello, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Bazaar. I'm your old crone, Jessica.
And I'm Montana.
And we're here again to make fun of ourselves for your pleasure. So thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm editing our YouTube videos now, is to make fun of you.
Me?
And put little well, me too. I know
it's not hard. I know it's not hard to make fun of me, but damn.
It's not hard for either of us, trust me. But it's just more fun to do it to you, because then you get to react to it later and see what I did or what I insert.
To be fair, I do it to myself, and I'm just like, good plug.
Yeah, I like that we make fun of ourselves. It's kind of endearing.
Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, we're so opposite.
Oops.
You didn't turn your phone off?
Sure didn't.
Who's texting you right now? The only important person here is right here. Right here.
It's probably an email telling me that I have a bill due.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 'tis the season, or 'tis that time of the month. But anyway, what were you saying about us being opposites?
We just look so opposite.
We do.
You have like gray contacts in, no bangs today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like in a sports shirt and a baseball hat.
Yeah, we are very opposite in our appearance, that's for sure.
You probably like take your time and like know you're on camera and make yourself all pretty. And like this morning, I literally was going through the laundry basket smelling clothes to see if they were clean. And I'm like, this works. I don't care.
Halfway true about me. I halfway get ready. But like what you can't see, I'm not even going to tell you what's going on below here.
She's not wearing pants.
I'm just kidding.
See, you're not wearing pants.
No, I halfway get ready, but I try to do this anyway most days, just because it makes me feel more productive and put together when I look better. So,
well, I'm having some health issues right now, so I don't care how I look.
Yeah, I think you look adorable.
Thank you. You're gonna put something really mean up right now on the screen, aren't you?
Oh, probably. You know me.
So how are you?
I'm good, busy, just trying to get things sorted before we head out of town for the weekend. I showed you the photo of my son's hair yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
I bleached my son's hair. That's the first time I've ever bleached anybody's hair. And it actually turned out really good. I mean, it needs toned because it's a bit yellow, but he loves it.
Did he ask you to do it?
Well, he's wanted to do it for a long time, and I'm just a frugal person, and I'm pretty capable of doing, like, I've cut his hair and Tony's hair, and I cut my own hair.
So that's why your all hair is so bad.
Kiss my ass, bitch. No. So I'm like, you know what? I've always dyed my own hair too. So I'm like, I think I can do it. And so I did, and it worked. Worked out.
I liked it. Yeah, you sent me the picture. I'm like, looks good. He looked
Yeah,
happy with it, and his
he's
opinion's the
happy.
one that matters because his hair. So
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it does need toned, but I was expecting it to be like all blotchy and messed up and like missed spots, but it wasn't.
no.
So, yeah, so he's just doing his glow up for the wedding. I was joking with him. I think he laughs about that shit because I'm so old and I try to say cool stuff. But I was making my breakfast this morning. He was talking to me in the kitchen, and I was like, "Yeah, I have to do podcast stuff today, but tomorrow we can finish your glow up." We're gonna go thrifting because he's really into, you know how like '90s grunge is all the rage right now.
Is it?
Like, oh yeah, the young kids are like grunge era is back. So he wants to go thrift some grungy clothes. I'm like, I am all about that. I've been trying to get him to do that since he was little. Like, I can remember when he was it was probably middle school. I thrift all the time. I don't so much now as I used to, but I went to the thrift store and I bought him like a whole bag of clothes and I was so excited. I'm like, I found some gems, baby. And he was like, "What is this?" He hated all of it. Like,
No, that's a
I know.
stab to the heart.
I know. He was just he
Oh,
was in a different place then. Like he was all about the, what I mean, it's still what's in, but now that's what's in. So now it's cool.
yeah. He's gotten me into thrifting. He's a big thrifter, and we go thrifting a lot, and it's fun. Thrifting is
It
fun. You can
is.
find some really cool stuff.
Yeah. My sister and I pretty much grew up doing that with our grandma. She actually had a community center where she would just have people donate their clothes and the poor people could come in and just pick what they wanted. They didn't even have to pay for it. So like we've
Oh,
just been
nice.
around that forever. And she always called it treasures, like treasure hunting.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, she was adorable.
Yeah, so go thrift. It's fun. I'm sure it's a lot of people's hobbies. That's why I send you so many pictures of creepy dolls because they're all over thrift
Oh, they
stores. And I'm
are.
like, yep, I gotta send this to Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find all kinds of creepy shit and just random shit
That's why
in
I got
thrift
you your
stores.
mug, Blood of Thy Enemies.
Yeah, the letters are starting to peel off of it. I know.
It even says dishwasher safe. I feel lied to.
I just hand wash it and it's still coming off.
Well, it's from a thrift store, so what can you expect? But
I honestly think it was somebody's DIY. Like, I think the cup is
probably.
dishwasher safe, but I don't think the, like, applicate, what do you call that? Where you put the appliques? I don't know. The stickers. I don't think they're meant to
I have no
be
idea.
wet, I guess.
That sucks.
Moist.
Stop with the moist. All right. So before we get in today's episode, we have a podcast shout out, and it's Creepy Shit Podcast. I actually binged it yesterday. She's really good. I like her a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's got a few episodes on there, and so it's hosted by Star, and who actually seems really cool and really, really nice in person. And seems about supporting other podcasts, and that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we talk about all the time how it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I will say we have met. I mean, we're just getting started with networking and whatnot, but every single person that has reached out to us or that you've reached out to has been so cool. We're meeting really cool people.
Yeah. And I'm just going to read a description of the podcast because I feel like that's the easiest way to explain it. So it's, hey, fellow wanderers of the weird, the strange and unusual souls who feel most at home in the obscure. Join me as I take you on a journey through generally haunted locations, unravel forgotten folklore, and share essential paranormal knowledge. Think of this as your paranormal field guide, equal parts spooky and creepy tales, cultural history, and what to do when that shadow in the hallway definitely is in your coat rack. And
Cute.
And
Mhm.
I will link the description in our show notes. At the description, I will link her podcast in the description notes. Brain fog, sorry.
Brain
frog. Damn it!
I'm looking for the pig and I can't find him.
Oh, you can't really see him. Dang it, he's up there on my massage bars. He's at the end. He kind of blends in with the yellow light, so he's up there. I'm running out of real estate. But he's up there. That's not a very... You can kind of see his eyeball.
Yeah,
black
I can
eyeball.
kind of.
Just let him be creepy from the corner, okay?
He's peering around the corner.
Sure. So, any other updates before we get into today's topic?
I don't think so. What about you? We talked a bunch about me, but didn't really say much about you.
No. My updates are nothing too exciting. Just having some health stuff going on right now, but we can talk about that later. I gotta do blood work today again. I hate doing blood work. I just did it 2 weeks ago, and I gotta do it again. So, Yay! That's all I got for me. Woohoo! This is why I always look like shit now, and probably sound like I'm dying because just trying to sort through some stuff.
Shit happens, man. And it seems like it just keeps happening. Like it never ends.
But somehow we just keep showing up.
Yep. Here we are in all our glory.
Elvira and the girl who looks like she's dying.
You look just fine.
People are gonna go on YouTube just to see what I look like, and I'd be like, oh no, you don't look fine.
Yes, you do. But anyway.
Today's story is the story of Michael Malloy.
Who I've never heard of.
You will after this. So there's quite a few characters in the story, so I'm going to do my best to keep it simple. And he's kind of a legend. He's kind of a hero, in my opinion. And hopefully you can't hear my laundry.
I did notice, too, that when we whisper, it cuts that out. Did you notice that?
Does it? No.
Yeah. It's like it'll get the first part of our whisper and then it cuts us off.
Everything hates us. Everything hates us.
Like, that's part of our thing. It's like...
Whispering.
You know?
I know every time I'm watching TV or a movie, they say, like, that was bizarre. And then I'm like, Weekly Bizarre.
I was doing that
like,
last
oh
night.
my God. It's like, shut up. No, just kidding. He just like gives me a look like. All right, Michael Malloy. I'm gonna break down the scene for you. A man by the name of Tony Marino ventured into the speakeasy trade in the late 1920s. Unfortunately, his first venture went under, but after the failure, he opened a dive at 3775 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. And when we say dive, we mean dive, which kind of are the best bars, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So the place had 4 round tables, several chairs, a mangy 3-cushion sofa propped against the wall, and a makeshift bar measuring about 12 feet in length. And they did have a cramped bathroom in the back. And basically, when people walked by, they just thought it looked nothing more than an empty storefront. So when we say dive, we mean dive. And the few regulars that Marino's establishment had weren't great. Most were unemployed and prone to violence. And Marino basically ran the establishment himself, though he did employ a, quote, bartender by the name of Joseph Murphy, and he was also known as Red to the few patrons that were usually the regulars. He was hired to pour drinks for $1 a day that Marino paid him sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, sporadically. Be like, here's your $1 for the week.
Dang.
But to be fair, Murphy spent more time sampling the inventory than actually pouring it into customers' glasses. So, win-win, right? So I really don't think Murphy minded because he got to consume vast quantities of whiskey, usually drinking from the moment he woke up to the moment he went to bed.
Ooh, that's rough on the liver.
Yeah, they said he drank more than he ate.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably lived till he was like 100.
Probably. But Murphy was actually homeless and spent all his time at the speakeasy sleeping on that mangy sofa that I mentioned before at night, and he just had a single blanket
So the
to keep
speakeasy
himself
is the
warm.
name. I'm sorry. The speakeasy is the name of the bar, the dive.
So it's just the speakeasy is owned by Tony Marino, and I don't think he had I don't know if he did have a name for it, so I just call it Marino's Speakeasy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it actually had a name. I could be wrong though, but I'm
That
trying to think.
sounds familiar to me. Like I've heard of this before, but I don't know the story. But I've heard speakeasy. I didn't. Is it just like a type of thing?
A
Like
speakeasy? You don't know what a speakeasy is?
uh-uh. I don't.
What's the best way to describe a speakeasy? Let me look it up. I can't look it up because actually I can. Basically, it's kind of like a secret establishment that only a few people know about. So, like, they're under restaurants, like basements of restaurants and stuff. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know I've heard of these kind of places, but I guess when I heard it, I thought it was like a literal
Like
name
a
of a
name?
place. Yeah, it's just not something I'm familiar with.
What's the definition say?
Pretty much what you said.
Yeah.
A speakeasy is a hidden or secret bar, especially those that served alcohol illegally during the
Mhm.
Prohibition era. Okay, I guarantee I probably heard it from Boardwalk Empire. Did you watch that?
No.
I watched it because of Tony. If it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't have watched it, and if I had started it, I probably wouldn't have finished it. This is maybe if I had watched it like when it aired, but it was quite a few years old, and I don't know. I had already watched Peaky Blinders, which was, in my opinion, way better.
Yeah, we talked about the subtitles for that.
Yeah.
No, so speakeasy, obviously it's not a name, it's a thing.
Okay.
And it was obviously more secret, and I think more of a secret thing back then because, a lot of illegal stuff. And now they do speakeasies for fun.
Okay.
And there's actually a restaurant that opened up right down the road from me, and they have a speakeasy that used to be it's a distillery, but the speakeasy part is in an old mail room. I haven't been, but yeah. So I don't think we actually know the name. Tony Marino is the guy that it was his speakeasy that he ran. And then Murphy is his bartender. Okay.
He's living lush.
Yeah. So we left off as he drank more than he ate. And so basically, Marino felt sorry for Murphy, and that's why he gave him the job. And in early 1932, Marino meets a woman named Maybelle Carlson, and she was 27 years old. She was a hairdresser from Washington, and she came to New York wanting to start a new life after the death of her parents. And I didn't mention before, but the Marino Speakeasy is in New York, the Bronx. Of all the places in the world, she had to walk into Marino's establishment, and he will later say that he just took pity on her. Side note, Marino is married, and every time his wife would express concerns about this new woman, he basically just beat her.
What a dick.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. We do not like Marino.
Nope. I already don't like him, and that's all I know about him. That's all I need to know.
And thankfully, his wife could no longer handle it, so she and their 1-year-old son, they moved out to live with her sister-in-law.
Good.
So at 10:30 a.m. on March 17th, 1932, police responded to a call where they found Mabel dead in her bed.
Oh, no.
Dr. David H. Smith, he was the assistant medical examiner who performed the autopsy on Mabel, and his verdict was bronchial pneumonia with terminal, acute, and chronic alcoholism.
I thought you were going to say he, had somebody kill her because she left him or something like that.
Oh, we'll get into what he did.
Okay.
And we're going into her death because it sets the scene for later. And when authorities questioned Marino about Mabel's death, he said he came home the night before and found the girl lying on her bed, and he just thought she was sleeping. Although it was concluded that Mabel's death was free of suspicious circumstances because she didn't have contusions on her body. And Mabel, before she died, had made an insurance policy. Mabel had made Marino the beneficiary of a $2,000 life insurance policy. Coincidence?
Definitely not.
And despite getting the 2000 insurance policy, the autopsy confirmed a great deal of Marino's story, and it appeared to be just another one of those natural deaths brought on by alcoholism. Whew.
Big words.
Hard words. And so after the death of Mr. Michael Malloy, it was finally speculated that Marino had killed her. Because for at least 5 days before her death, Mabel was losing battle with pneumonia, and the night she died had been really cold for spring. So this is what they theorize. They think that Marino force-fed Mabel alcohol, and satisfied that she was severely drunk and incoherent, he helped her to bed. But before he did, he moved the bed under an open window and poured ice water all over the sheets and mattress. He stripped her naked and wrapped her in the soaked bedclothes. And that's what killed her.
Man.
And no one knows what he actually spent the insurance money on, but by the end of 1932, again, he needed money. So after blowing Mabel's life insurance policy, Marino is forced again to, he had to move in with his wife and his 1-year-old son and his sister-in-law, because remember, his wife moved out to live with her sister-in-law, so he had to move in with them, which I don't know why they let him. And so he needs to come up with another plan to make money, and this is where we get into Michael Malloy. And Michael Malloy was nicknamed Mike the Durable or Iron Mike. that's not foreshadowing, then I don't know what is. So we actually don't know much about him. All we know is he was a homeless Irishman from New York during the 1920s, 1930s. We do know he was a former firefighter and stationary engineer. And he was said to be an alcoholic's alcoholic. And by all accounts, he would drink whatever you would put in front of him. So gin, whiskey, bourbon, anything. He was known as a loner. His only acquaintances were those he nudged elbows with at the bar. And newspapers put his age around 60 years old because no one really knows his true birth date. And he was homeless, and usually he was just passed out somewhere. And most nights, Malloy could be found hunched over no other than Marino's bar with his hands cupped around a glass of booze. You with me so far?
Yeah, there's a lot going on already.
There is. There's a lot of characters in the story, and I haven't even named the majority yet. So at first, Malloy was actually a good paying customer. He found Marino to be very open to hospitality, so that's what kept encouraging him to come back regularly. But then he was spending too much time at the bar, more time than an odd job that helped pay his way at the bar. And so Malloy's tab just kept mounting and mounting and mounting. So one evening, Marino had enough and told Malloy that his line of credit was officially canceled. But night after night, Malloy still came to the bar and basically just begged for charity from some of Marino's other customers. An alcoholic's alcoholic. So one evening in particular, Marino is sitting with a few guys around the table in the back of the speakeasy. One man named Francis Pasqua, he was an undertaker, and one of Marino's regular named Daniel Kreisberg. He was 29 years old, and he was a wholesale greengrocer, and he was a father of three. Basically, the three of them are just bitching about money and how they need money, and like what we do all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And money's really tight. Yeah. And so as they're having this discussion, they say Malloy and Murphy. Oh, I'm sorry. As they're having this discussion, they see Malloy and Murphy. Again, Murphy is the bartender. They're stealing swigs from the bottle. So
Bunch of freaking bums hanging out at this place. Mooches.
I told you. It's not the company that you want.
No. How does this owner make any money?
Exactly.
Mooching
That's why they're bitching. But here's the thing, it's like you're with your friends, these two guys bitching about money, and then you see your bartender and a customer just like stealing your booze right there, but you don't do anything about it. You're just like, well, there's my money, that's where it's going. Doesn't make sense to me.
No.
So Pasqua, he's just watching Malloy, and he sees that Malloy is only sips away from the grave, right? So he gets an idea. He turns to Marino and says, quote, "Why don't you take out insurance on Malloy? And I can take care of the rest." End quote. So Marino takes a moment of contemplative silence, and then his wheels, they're just moving. Like you can see him thinking. So then it occurs to Marino that Malloy did indeed present an ideal opportunity for financial gain. He was a raging drunk. He had no friends, no family, and should some unfortunate mishap relieve Malloy of his mortal obligation, there would be no one to miss him. And his physical condition, or so it seemed, obviously left much to be desired. Which I think there's a comment that they put his age around 60, but they actually think he was younger. He just looked bad.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
His body was void of any kind of hydration.
Yeah. The non-alcohol kind, at least. So Marino assumed that years of hard living had left Malloy battered and feeble, and it would take little to put him in the ground, and of course the money would be really nice. And so as Marino is contemplating this idea, Daniel Kreisberg, he's just staring at him like, please, just say yes. Like, let's do this. Let's do it. So as Marino agreed it was a good plan, the three men laughed and raised their glasses and clinked them together, sealing the deal. And so the three men get 2 more men involved in their scheme. So there's 5 total men involved in this. So they add Murphy, the bartender, they add him in on the plan. And then there's a man named Hershey Green, and we'll get later into what his role is in this. So 5 men for a murder plot.
That just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It's just like, how many idiots does it take to kill somebody? It's like a bad joke, right? Start of a bad joke. 5 men walk into a bar.
They don't even succeed, right?
It takes allegedly. It takes them a minute. Or 50.
Oh my god.
So in the winter of 1932, the men presented Malloy with some papers, and they said this would help get Marino elected to local office, and promised to provide him with free drinks for the next few days in return. So of course, Malloy's like, free drinks? Heck yeah! He's so excited.
More liver damage? Yeah.
But Malloy was unaware that the papers he signed were actually life insurance policies.
This is why you always read the fine print, folks.
He was excited about his free drinks.
How many times I have signed up for something that I didn't read the fine print and regretted it over my life? More than I'd like to admit.
Well, it's like going to a doctor's office where you have to like sign all this stuff, and you're obviously not going to read the the fine print. And they're probably like, well, there go my organs on the black market somewhere. Maybe one day, They're like, well, you signed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's just excited for his free drinks. And so the insurance policies, they named Marino, Pasqua, Kreisberg, Murphy as their beneficiaries in the case of his accidental death. And the men stood to gain $3,500, and that's over $50,000 today. So split between the 4 of them. And again, we'll get into Hershey Green later.
I don't know about that. I'd be like, I think I'm out, guys. Like, it's not enough for me. The risk far outweighed the reward, in my opinion.
It's like how many times they had the chance to back out because their first attempt failed is like beyond me. Like, that should be your sign right there and be like, you know what? 3rd time still hasn't happened yet. Maybe I'm going to back out. Again, just how many people does it take to change a light bulb? I don't know. So over the course for the next 3 days, Malloy was given all the free drinks he wanted, and the gang was sure that would tip him over the edge. But on the 4th morning, to their shock and annoyance, Malloy just casually breezed back into the bar and ordered more drinks. Like, they're giving him shot after shot after shot, night after night. And he just comes back the next day and be like, let's go again.
Ugh. That sounds rough.
Durable, Mike.
Freaking iron liver, Mike.
Oh, just you wait.
And kidneys.
So then they started replacing the liquor with antifreeze. But still, Malloy would drink until he passed out, wake up, and come back.
How? How? I don't understand.
And even just like small quantities of like antifreeze can make you go blind. It's
Any
such poison.
What the heck?
So, gets better. Then antifreeze was substitute for turpentine.
Oh my god. What's happening?
And then turpentine was substitute for horse liniment, which I think is like ointment you just spread on a horse, and obviously it's really strong because it has to go on a horse.
What would it be for? Just like an antibiotic or something?
I think it's a cream. Look it up.
Horse liniment?
Yeah.
Sore muscle and joint pain relief?
Yeah. But you know, for a horse, it's going to be stronger to take effect. Anything with horse is like strong.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Back in the day, Special K.
What? What's wrong with Special K?
Never mess with that shit. This
Why?
horse tranquilizer. The drug. I'm talking about the recreational drug.
I was thinking the cereal. I was like, what's wrong with this cereal?
Oh, no. I used to run with a rough crowd when I was young, and they were very experimental, and I was always like the DD because I have such bad anxiety. Drugs never worked for me. So being sober and watching people on drugs was such a trip. And that one was so messed up. Like, probably gonna have to cut all this out. But yeah, Special K was a horse tranquilizer.
It's okay. You're not naming
You're taking
names. We're
for
good.
fun.
You're not naming names.
Yeah, that one. It was basically like all of my friends were corpses laying around me for a half an hour. I'm like, why is this fun? I don't understand.
Well, consider yourself the smartest of the group.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then they tried horse liniment.
I want to know the ingredients list for this. Like, why did they think that would kill him? I mean, might make him a little sick.
Because it would kill normal people.
But I'm like, it just seems like they're going in the wrong direction. Like, from something that's pretty extreme to muscle rub? What?
Well, then they start deciding to mix in rat poison.
See, now that makes more sense. It's like getting more extreme.
And at this point, the men are getting so frustrated, they then decided to put raw oysters soaked in wood alcohol. And I had to look up what wood alcohol is, and basically it's a term for methanol. It's a colorless and flammable liquid alcohol, which is highly toxic and dangerous to consume. And basically, one thing we use it for is they put it's fuel for like race cars.
God. But why oysters? I don't understand.
Because this idea apparently came from Pasqua, who saw a man die from eating oysters with whiskey. So again, shots. And he just keeps asking for more. Then come the sandwiches.
Okay.
So then they make a sandwich of spoiled sardines mixed with poison and carpet tacks. And he just asks for another sandwich.
He ate
Yeah.
like tacks.
Yes.
What is wrong with this person?
So then when this still did not work,
Oh my God.
it's a story, I'm telling you.
How have I not heard of this?
So when this still did not work, They filled Malloy's sandwiches with broken glass and metal because they thought like metal would tear up his, insides. And Malloy just simply devoured these sandwiches while he's washing them down with wood alcohol, and he just happily sits there and asks for more. So at this point,
I'm speechless. I don't even know. Like, I figured the tax would have done him in, but
are the antifreeze, are the wood alcohol, are the turpentine, like what?
at this point, his mouth and like esophagus and everything must be so destroyed that he can't taste anything or feel anything. Like, there's no other explanation. Like, how could you not taste this shit or feel that you're chewing on glass? Like, what in the hell?
Iron Mike.
Is this real?
This is a real story. This is a flat out
God.
real story. It's
This is
weird.
insane.
That's why we're talking about it.
Hey.
So at this point, the gang is like, okay, the WTF. Obviously, whatever this man consumes, it's not going to kill him.
Oh my God. He missed his calling. He could have been like a competitive eater.
He should have. Like, he probably could have made money traveling the world.
Yeah.
So Marino was getting so pissed off, he just said at this point, it would just be easier to shoot him in the head.
Yeah. I think I would have come to that conclusion a little faster than they did, but hey.
But the other guys are like, no, no, no. That will just attract authorities, so we just need a different plan. So the gang's next plan was to carry a passed out Malloy into the freezing January night, cover him with icy water, and wait for him to die of exposure. So what Marino did to Mabel. So the temperature that night was negative 14 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 26 degrees Celsius. And they carried Malloy to a park, dumped him in the snow, and had 5 gallons of water poured on his bare chest. But when the sun rose the next morning, there was Malloy waiting outside the door for another drink, complaining it was a little chilly last night.
God. Well, shit, I can remember when I would have bad hangovers. That was all that sounded good to me. It was like cold things. So it was probably refreshing for him.
Could you just imagine me like, okay, we finally got him, and then show up the next day and he's just like waiting, and you're like, what the fuck? What? Why won't he die?
It's like, I don't know, like a zombie or something. Like, he just keeps rising from the freaking grave every day.
So, with February approaching around the corner, the gang would have to pay another monthly installment towards the insurance plans. Because remember, they're still paying on this insurance. Which is just backfiring on them at this point. It's like a cartoon, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a terrible plan. I mean, I guess technically it wasn't. It's just bad luck.
So that's where the gang decides to bring in Hershey Green on their plan because he was a taxi driver. And they promised him a cut of $150 to run Malloy over with his car.
If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
I know, we finally might have gotten him. So one afternoon, Pasqua and Murphy held a drunk Malloy upright on the side of a road while Green, he raced towards them. And just before Green reached the 3 men, Pasqua and Murphy jumped out of the way and then got up to see if their plan had finally been done. Like, Malloy, he was even too drunk to stand at this point, but with just a few seconds to spare, he somehow managed to jump out of the way of the moving car as well.
Oh my God.
And the men immediately repeat this process. They do it again. And again, Malloy managed to jump out of the way of the car. So it was the third attempt where Green finally hit Malloy with his car, and he hit him like 50 miles an hour. And they even heard the thump thump, right?
Mhm.
And so
Like
just
literally over him.
yeah, thump thump. And just for good measure, Green backed over him.
Oh my god, that reminds me of the first episode of The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
hooked me in. They back up.
I need to go. We've been keep talking about this show. I need to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember hardly anything.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. But yeah, it reminds me. It's exactly what happened.
So yeah, thump thump, hit him with his car. I'd be like, you know what? Just for good measure, let's back up and do it again. But the noise did alert some people passing by, so the gang immediately took off, so they weren't able to make sure Malloy was officially dead. So weeks go by. The gang hears nothing about Malloy. So the gang is like, okay, we need to find out which morgue has Malloy's body so we can finally collect our money. In mid-February, a severely bandaged Michael Malloy limps into the bar, declaring he's desperate for a drink.
Like nothing ever happened.
He had a fractured skull and a broken shoulder, but he was in good spirits. He said he was basically, I'm thirsty. Give me a drink.
Wow.
And the best part is he has no memory of the accident. He just woke up in a hospital.
Oh my god.
So at this point, like the gang's murder plot, they weren't even going to profit because they had already spent so much money on paying for the insurance plan, on buying the wood alcohol, and like all the free booze they kept giving Malloy. And like if you're going to get some money and you still have to split it 5 ways, they're going to get no money. They wasted it trying to kill this man.
Oh my god.
And Malloy's ability to keep cheating death had pissed off these men so much that they were like, okay, at this point, it's not even about the money. He just needs to die. We need to salvage some pride from this whole venture. And one way or another, he's going to die. So, on the night of February 21st, 1933, the gang waited for Malloy to pass out, and when he did, they carried him to a rented room near the bar, where they finally killed him by sticking a gas pipe down his throat.
Damn.
So basically what they did, they put one end of a rubber tube from a gas light into his mouth, and they wrapped a towel tightly around his face, and then they poisoned him with carbon monoxide. They finally killed Michael Malloy.
And at this point, it was just to kill him. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then they paid off a coroner to list his cause of death as pneumonia, and so they set about collecting the insurance policy. And a crooked doctor friend of Pasqua's forged a death certificate in the name of Nicholas Malloy, and that's that he died of pneumonia. So they only received an $800 payout.
Serves them right.
So $800 split between 5 men.
And over how much time did this take?
Months. It took months.
Sad.
And the fact that if they killed him like right away, they would have gotten, again, over $50,000 today. Which I don't even know what $800 would be today. But I still don't even think that's much. Split between 5 people. So when they tried to collect the insurance money from Prudential Life Insurance, that kind of threw up a red flag for the insurance company. So the insurance agents are like, you want your money, we need to see the body. And Pasqua was like, well, the body was already buried. It's buried. It's done. So this in turn caused the insurance company to call the authorities. And so on May 1933, Malloy's body was exhumed, and then the phony death certificate that said he died of pneumonia, the autopsy proved he did not, obviously. And it also didn't help that the New York police had been hearing rumors about Iron Mike for the previous few weeks, and which made the story add up more. So all the red flags are kind of waving here. It also didn't help that Green, who was not happy with his cut of the insurance money, he starts talking.
See? This is why I said earlier, it just sounds like a recipe for disaster, because the more people involved, the more chance of shit like that happening. Somebody talking or somebody screwing something up.
It's too many men involved in the story.
Yeah, and not to mention having to split your money that many ways. Like, it's just not a good idea. All the way around.
I mean, what's the saying? Two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. Just saying. So yeah, Green starts talking. And this is where police discovered that a homeless woman had died in Marino's speakeasy under suspicious circumstances, and that Marino has the sole beneficiary of her life insurance. So that was Mabel. So the autopsy test obviously showed that Malloy was murdered. So Marino, Pasqua, Kreisberg, Murphy, and Green, they were all arrested. And they were even dubbed the Murder Trust by the press.
Rip.
And Hershey Green was convicted of the attempted murder of Michael Malloy, and he was sentenced to a minimum of 10 years in prison. And the other four men just kind of pointed fingers at each other during their trial. And first, they tried to plead insanity, but when that didn't work, they just tried to just implicate each other on the murder. You know, they're all turning against each other. So each were convicted of murder and sentenced to death. So Marino, Pasqua, and Kreisberg were all executed in the electric chair on the same day, June 7th, 1934. And then Joe Murphy, the bartender, was executed by the same method the following month. So Harry Green was the only member of the murder trust to escape execution, and he was just sent to prison. So he kind of got the good end of the deal out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Malloy was not only known for being the most stubborn murder victim, his murder case was also one of the first to be investigated by the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. And that is the story of Michael Malloy.
Oh my God.
Not what you were expecting?
I mean, no, I expected it to be more like he just kept evading hitmen or something like that. Like he was a super, I don't know,
like a cartoon where like a hitman's about to shoot him from a bush and then he bends down to tie his shoe at the exact same time, like something like that.
Yeah, not, he's just had an iron stomach and liver. Wow.
I wish I had an iron stomach like that, let me tell you.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that is not what I expected at all. Are there photos of...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll be putting photos up, but
there is a picture of Malloy after he's dead, and the man looked like he took a beating. Like he looks rough.
I wonder how old he actually was when all this shit was going down.
Like I said, they think he was around his 60s just the way he looked, but it's possible he could have been like 10 years younger in his 50s. He had a rough life.
It's pretty impressive, though, like to be that in that age range, especially back in the day.
He's Irishman, so you know.
they'll be that resilient. Damn.
The Irish and their drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. They thought he was an easy target. That's what's so funny. They're like, oh, a few drinks, I'll take him down.
Yeah. Little did they know. Ooh, the electric chair too. That just gives me chills. That was so horrific. What a horrible way to die.
I know. I don't think people deserve, like, you know what I mean? But I felt like they kind of deserved it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like, he's just drinking, having a good time, getting like free sandwiches. And he thinks like these men are his friends, and they're
free
just
sandwiches with glass and tacks.
metal, and yeah.
Oh my god.
And they're just trying to kill him this whole entire time. And I just feel bad for him because he's just so clueless. You don't even know what to say. Like, it's just, you don't know what to say. It's hard to.
No. Like, I can't imagine being those dudes watching him just sitting there like nothing's wrong so many times, like looking at each other like, again, like, what?
He was like, ugh. It's like, yeah, he's just being resurrected. Even like, I feel like even God is sitting back and be like, what's gonna happen next? He's like, I don't even know.
Just let this play out.
Yeah, like I'm done giving this guy enough tries to live, and he's like, let's just sit back and see what happens, guys. Yeah, story of Michael Malloy. It's all she wrote.
Are there any movies about this?
Actually, yes, I think I saw something where there was. Let me look it up right now. It says that there's a character named Michael Malloy in the movie Kill the Irishman, 2011. Also, there is a movie, I can't pronounce the foreign version of it. I'm not even going to try, but it's called Name Your Poison in 2015. And of course, there is there's documentaries and stuff as well that you can watch. But this guy's a legend, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's a legend. He's like the Superman of stomachs.
Just organs. The Superman of organs.
I wonder just like what his inside looks like. Like, I wonder when they were doing the autopsy and they were like doing x-rays and they're just like, what?
Dust. It's probably like dust in there. Ugh.
Terrible Mike. May you R.I.P. Is that all?
That's all. I don't know. This is your story. Is that all?
I know. I just feel like we keep looking at each other because it's like, again, you know, truth is stranger than fiction. Like, this is a true story.
It's crazy.
Again, how many idiots does it take to murder somebody?
I've never heard anything like it. I mean, yeah, on one hand, they are kind of idiots, but at the same time, it's like, how could you ever expect anything like that to happen? You know? Like, somebody to survive.
It's like Coyote and the Roadrunner. Like, how many times you try to kill the coyote and it keeps backfiring on you?
Yeah. Wow.
And now we keep looking. I know we just keep looking at each other because both of us don't even know what to say because it's bizarre. Weekly bizarre. So, well, guys, you can follow us on all the show. All the shows.
All the shows.
All the shows. You can watch us
Someday.
Yeah, you're watching us right now on YouTube.
Yeah.
All the socials at Weekly Bizarre Podcast. You can email us at weeklybizarrepodcast@gmail.com. Send us stories. We would love to. Anyone know of another story that can relate to Michael Malloy? That'd be fantastic.
That would be.
And you can join us on Patreon for only $5 a month at patreon.com/weeklybazaar. We truly appreciate the support. And I think that's it, right?
That's the wrap.
Her head's in the speakeasy right now.
It is. I feel dumber, if that's even possible, after this episode.
Glad I could help. If it's weird,
we're gonna talk about it.
Bye.